The next question is from Metal Gear Study. What is your favorite non-canon game, such as Ghost Babel or Acid? I know you said that you. I'm not sure if you played them since, but there was a time when you said you wouldn't really touch the Kojima-less Metal Gear games. Have you played any since or recently?
Well, I'm gonna play the Raiden one, and I can't even remember the name of it.
Metal Gear.
It's so bad.
Metal Gear Rising.
Rising, that's it is. Every time I hear it, I like immediately goes Raiden, and so I have a feeling I'm probably gonna like that game because it has a something about it kind of reminds me of Devil May Cry.
Yeah, definitely.
And I loved the first Devil May Cry game. I remember the first time I played that, I was like, this is a crazy but awesome game.
Yeah.
And then comes to find out it's like based off of it was basically it's a broken Resident Evil game that they decided to turn into another game. I was like, oh, that was a good idea. So like I have a feeling I'm probably gonna like that game the most. And even though I haven't played it yet, I've played Portable Ops. Portable Ops is great, but I mean I still prefer like Peace Walker just because it's a more refined version of it.
Yeah.
And but that's a Kojima game. So,
yeah.
And I've never played the second one on the NES. I can't get past how terrible it is.
Yeah.
Although there was a video I watched on YouTube where these two guys, they play the game and they complain about the game, but they do it in such a enjoyable manner that the video is fantastic. And
is that Snake's Revenge?
It's Snake's Revenge.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna have to probably say it's probably gonna be the one I haven't played yet. Like that, and I also like I've watched the cinemas, and I enjoy the cinemas simply like the ridiculousness of the. I already kind of know the plot.
Yeah.
So like it's just this. He's a senator, and he's all ripped, and he's the nano machines. Like I just love it. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
So
I'm
gonna probably, even though I haven't played it, I'm gonna probably say it's that one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've admittedly I've never actually completed Rising. I got really far into it a few years ago, kind of around the time when it came out, but I never actually finished it. But it is like you've got to take it as what it is. It's an action spin-off version of Metal Gear, and I think it is cool that I think the cyborg ninjas are one of the coolest things of Metal Gear Solid. Like whether it's Grey Fox, Olga, or Raiden in 4. So I do think like for me, like I'm not sure if you're aware, but you can unlock a Grey Fox skin in that game, and get the Fox Blade, his sword, his katana.
Okay, you piqued my interest.
There we go.
I didn't know that was in the game. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's annoyingly you have to build up an in-game currency to unlock it, which is a bit of a shame. But I've got it on Steam, and I just downloaded a 100% save file, so I could just do it. So I could just play it from scratch. But Grey Fox is probably my favorite character in Metal Gear Solid. Definitely top 3. I just love that character.
He's a good character.
Yeah,
he's. I guess that's technically another person's big boss is destroyed.
Yeah, pretty much. And I that's another thing I'd love to see in Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 remakes is more development of Grey Fox's character in that.
You could totally put it in that game that you and I were like theoretically talking about that doesn't exist, should exist.
Yeah,
you could deploy Grey Fox. You could play as Grey Fox in that game.
That'd be so cool.
That would be fantastic.
Oh my god, the potential there would be just amazing. And then to see like the payoff in Metal Gear Solid 1, that's the thing. It's so like ripe for development. But going back to Metal Gear Rising, like the fact that that you can play as Grey Fox. I've got I've got a little Grey Fox duck thing here that my friend got me.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that.
So that's one thing I really enjoy about Metal Gear Rising. In terms of my favorite non-canon game, I have a lot of fond memories with Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops. That was like one of the first games I ever got on my PSP, and I just remember being amazed at the time that I was playing like a Metal Gear Solid game on a handheld, which at the time, the graphics felt pretty good for that game.
They were. I remember that when it came out. I didn't own it at the time, but a friend of mine did, and I was sitting there playing with it for probably about an hour and a half.
Yeah, it does its best to feel like MGS 3 in terms of its gameplay. With the limited hardware, I think it does a pretty good job. Obviously, Peace Walker did it better by simplifying the controls, so to speak. But I do think Portable Ops, and I really love the cutscenes that Portable Ops introduced. Obviously, they I think the artist is Ashley Woods. I think I might got that name slightly wrong, but he's the guy who did the graphic novels. They brought him in to do these kind of comic style cutscenes because, again, of the limited hardware. And I think those cutscenes became really popular. They're in Peace Walker, and I think they're so cool and stylish, and they those. Well,
they work for the series.
Yeah,
surprisingly, you wouldn't really think it would, but it totally does. It works.
Yeah, it's a completely different style to Yoji Shinkawa's artwork that we're used to seeing with Metal Gear Solid, but it just works. I don't know how to explain it. I think what it does is it captures that slightly abstract surrealness that Metal Gear Solid has to it. I think it captures that in the art style in a kind of odd way. But yeah, so Portable Ops for me is probably my favorite non-canon. But it's kind of a weird one because it's kind of debatable whether that's canon or not.
Yeah, a lot of people I know there's characters in. Well, I don't know if Luffy's going to watch this video or not, but I don't want to ruin the story. But I know what you're talking about. And, it could be considered, but it's who you talk to. If you talk to a Kojima purist, he's going to say no.
Yeah.
But if you talk to somebody who's just it makes sense, you can fit it in there.
Yeah.
And it does.
Yeah. Yeah, it totally does. I consider it. I think it kind of sits as canon in my head. It's probably because I have a bit of a fondness for the game. And I'd love to see that get a remaster similar to what Peace Walker got with its HD remaster. I think that could do well for the game.
It's funny because I started Peace Walker because I never played it in handheld. I only played it on the HD, and I have it on my console on my PS3. I had two PS3s, and nice. I had it on my PS3 that was hardware backwards compatible, and we all know how well those hold up. It blew up, and I've been trying to fix it, and I don't want to spend that much money because I don't want to spend $800 fixing a PS3
where I can get another secondhand one.
Yeah, exactly. So I have a Slim that I played, but I lost my save file, so I have to start that game over again. I never finished it. I got really close to the end, which it's a little bittersweet, but I'm all right with going back and starting it again.
Yeah. It's definitely worth playing, and it's amazing how well it ties into Ground Zeroes and MGS and Phantom Pain. So
I went online and watched videos to finish it, so I knew what was going on, but it's still not the same.
No, definitely, it's definitely worth revisiting that. I think